Act like you belong there, even if you don't. Welcome to episode 8 of my 50 Days of 50 series, where I share stories about my life that has taught me something, all leading up to my 50th birthday on July 19th. This is about how I met and interviewed Danny Glover for Studio Q without an invitation. Let me explain. Danny Glover was coming to my graduate school to speak, and he was only going to be in town for one day, and I was determined to interview him for my show Studio Q. I had just seen him recently be interviewed on Inside the Actors Studio, hosted by James Lipton, which was one of my favorite TV shows, by the way. I love this show so much that I would make study tapes and study the way James Lipton interviewed actors because it was just so stellar. I even named Studio Q after this show. I just put a Q. I said Inside the Actors Studio, Studio Q. This is where Studio Q came to life. When I found out he was coming to town, I talked to Terry Jackson. Rest in peace, Terry Jackson. She was the director of multicultural affairs at the university that I attended for my master's degree. And I was like, how am I going to interview Danny Glover? He's coming to town. I want to interview him. She's like, act like you're supposed to be there. Act like you're supposed to. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do just that. So I went to the event that he was speaking at, and afterwards gathered by the door because I knew there was going to be something afterwards. There just always is. I stood there waiting where there was a group of people who were gathered, and I just acted like I was supposed to be with the group to see Danny Glover afterwards. And do you know, nobody said anything to me, and I just asked him if I could do an interview right on the spot. And not only did I do an interview with him, I bought him a gift. One of the books that he said was his Bible for acting. When I gave it to him, his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. And the only reason I knew that this was his Bible book for acting was because of watching Inside the Actors Studio. So I had did my research. So I literally did a whole interview with him without it being planned, booked, anything, just because I acted like I was supposed to. I even printed out pictures of him on the internet and asked him if he could sign it so that I could give it to other people. And as you can see, he did it. He even autographed a picture from my mom. It says, "Have a wonderful life, Danny Glover." She put it in a frame. I'm laughing because I still cannot believe that it worked. And not only for that experience, I can't tell you how many other moments that I got to experience in my life because I acted like I was supposed to be there. So I'm not saying it's going to always work, but it worked more times than it didn't. And then many years later, I got to interview Danny Glover again on the red carpet in LA. And I told him about the story and he laughed. So when you really want something, go for it. Act like you're supposed to have it. Act like it's supposed to be yours. Act like the seat at the table already got your name on it. And I promise you, sometimes it actually will.